Hello, world.
And we are locked in. Dave the Wave looking fresh over there as always. The slick hair, the North Face jacket, the rock shirt. You name it, Dave has it.
It's cold, man. It's Daytona Beach, Florida. It's freezing out.
Myself, Max Van Auken, freezing, and we're inside the studio freezing. That's even worse. But anyway, guys, this is going to be the best episode I think we've ever recorded. And I'm not being hyperbolic. We have all the time in the world. We're in the same room, and it's an all-NBA episode.
Exactly. We just had Michael Beast Boy Davis on. We just had Jordan Griffin on. We've had a lot of MMA in the last couple of weeks. We've had our football picks that we've been locked in on, killing our football picks. Max, I got the Chargers and the Saints in the Super Bowl. It could happen. It's
a pretty damn good
pick ever. But we are NBA guys at heart, right?
We are NBA guys at heart.
LeBron James, New York Knicks, Los Angeles Lakers. We are die-hard basketball fans. So that's just an hour and 55 minutes of straight ball talk.
There we go. My favorite sport in the world, NBA. Okay, so one thing is for sure, we are fans. I've gone to the NBA games, Magic, talked to the players, but mainland versus Atlantic, it doesn't matter what level it is. I just love to go watch it. It's this Friday, Embry-Riddle. That's how packed this game got between Atlantic High School versus Mainland High School. Those who are listening to this out of state, Mainland was the former high school Vince Carter went to. Denzel Washington went there for a year.
Tony Bobbitt?
Yeah, Ja'Kai for the UF. He's going to be an NFL player.
Ja'Kai Polite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's legit. He's going to be a first-round pick, guys.
Atlantic is even more impressive. Dave the Wave, myself.
National Honor Society president my senior year, just throwing that out there.
Pretty damn good.
Thank you, sir.
I got a couple awards for being a student athlete.
Okay.
28-3.
SGA.
So anyway, we're basketball guys no matter the level. But one thing is for certain, we have some big NBA stuff to talk about.
Okay.
100%.
Real quick, before you leave the 386 scene, Atlantic, Mainland, who do you got?
Atlantic.
Okay. All right, here we go. NBA time.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, but they really have a deep roster full of college players. Okay, so let's just start off with this, Dave.
I'm ready.
So I spoke to Rashad Phillips. He's been on the podcast. Check out his show on YouTube. I think 23-19.
Yes.
And I think that's how many points he scored. It could be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, so he's a brilliant basketball mind, basketball guru.
I was just going to say that. Great player. He played overseas, great college player.
Yeah.
But his mind, they call him Yoda, that's his nickname. It's top notch.
It is.
He knows what he's talking about college players. They're when they translate to the NBA, stud mind of the NBA.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So he searches and researches talent, college players to the NBA who can make that leap. Because there's a lot of good college players who can't. And there's a lot of people who are on nobody's radar who become great NBA players. Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard. The list goes on and on. Steph
Paul
Curry.
George.
Yeah. So
yeah, good call.
But one thing you and I have kind of been on the money with and locked in with is what makes Ben Simmons' draft so different and unique is that usually the either number 1 or number 2 overall pick is, I hate to use the word bust, but I'll just say underachieving for argument's sake.
The Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, so it's either the number 1 or the number 2. History says it. It's not just us being kind of rude or mean or critical. But the Ben Simmons had Brandon Ingram and Jaylen Brown, and you may say Brandon Ingram, we expect more, but he's certainly not a bust.
Oh,
so,
definitely not. He's a good NBA player, which I want to give you. I was more of a Brandon Ingram guy. I thought you were more a Kyle Kuzma guy, so I'm giving you a little bit of credit. But that's it. No more credit for the rest of the show.
I did actually like Ingram better, but I'll steal the love anyway. But anyway, so my point being is Duke has all this hype, and rightly so. Zion Williamson is very quickly, his unbelievable athleticism is something that you don't see pretty much with anybody else. He's 280 and broke the vertical record for Duke. So he's a physical specimen, a true freak of nature. I know I could say that sometimes, but he truly is. And he's 6'7", he can handle. Now, before I dive into my next question, I just wanted to tell you this. Isn't it unfair that he's projected to be the next LeBron James? LeBron James is somebody you're only going to get Maybe never again. He's the type of player with the basketball IQ. He passes the ball. He's probably the best passer in the NBA right now. He can finish. He's a basketball wizard. He loves the history of it. There's nobody going to be like LeBron James who can do what he does. Zion will be a good NBA player. He won't be LeBron James. And what I'm fearful is everybody has the expectations of comparing him to LeBron. But even at this age, LeBron was a better passer. LeBron was more versatile. He was a better point guard. I don't think Zion is the next LeBron James. I think Zion will be an all-star. I think he will be a good NBA player. But when we set these projections of players to be a LeBron James and they don't, people think he underachieved, and I just don't think it's fair for Zion. So that's my first quick point. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So I loved where you're going with it. Not LeBron, 100% agree. LeBron's the greatest player ever, does so many things. One thing that LeBron has that Zion will never have, LeBron has the ball in his hands. He's usually the point guard, the leader. The ball starts with him. Sometimes Shaquille O'Neal, big power forwards, Tim Duncan, Zion, they need Tony Parker to get him the ball. They need Kobe Bryant to throw him the alley-oop. So Zion cannot ever be as good as LeBron because he's not a true ball handler. So that's right off. But you said a big word that really stuck out to me. You said good. Oh, he's going to be better than good. He's going to be great. Like, he is going to be, to me, a 12-time NBA All-Star, a champion. Oh, no, he's, no LeBron James. We just had a great LeBron James, Dwayne Wade discussion. Zion could be someone like Dwayne Wade, a Hall of Famer,
I agree,
scoring leader. So, to me, that's better than good.
I agree, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to kind of clear that up because you're like, he's good.
No, that's a good point, yeah.
He's not. Kyle Kuzma is good.
Good
Zion
point.
Williamson will
He's going to be great.
Great. Like, better than Blake Griffin. Like, I think Zion's his rookie year, he's the 12th best player in the world. His second, third year, he's in the discussion of the 5th, 4th, 6th best player in the world. Like, soon. Like, that's how I see him. I don't think he'll ever be the best.
Okay. We're in agreement then. He will be great. I don't know if he'll be... I think immediately he'll have an impact on a team. I'm not sure top 10 in the league, but he'll have an impact on a team. I think he will be great. So I'm in agreement with you there.
Okay.
So that leads me to my next question. So now that we're on the same page about Zion, RJ Barrett gets a lot of the love, a lot of the attention. He's Steve Nash's grandson, I believe. Or Steve Nash is his godfather.
I was going to say.
So however you... Godson. So, come on now.
Wait.
I forget you're my cousin sometimes. So, anyway... So with RJ projected to be even higher than Zion, but we are high on Zion, that means that we're all not seeing something. That means that RJ Barrett, if history is proven correct, will not be the NBA player we think he'll be. Now, do you think this draft will be unique? Do you think this draft will be like Ben Simmons' draft? Or do you think it'll fall where history does? And to tell you what, Rashad Phillips, this is coming right from the horse's mouth because I asked him. And I said, what do you think? He doesn't think RJ Barrett will be a good NBA player.
Wow. So when he says not good, and what I want kind of more from you, just real quick, is he a bust? Is he like a Fultz?
I hope he doesn't mind I gave away some of his scouting. But
or as the first or the second pick of the draft, you're expected to be a 7-9-time NBA All-Star. But just say if RJ Barrett is like a Lou Williams. Is that bad for him? A bust? Borderline all-star player, 18 points a game guy, or throw me another analogy if you have one.
If he was, but I think you nailed it. It's where you're drafted. If you're drafted at number 1, then yeah. If you're drafted at 14, then no. But with him being drafted, especially if there's somebody in the draft who's special, and you go above him.
Oh yeah, okay. If RJ Barrett's drafted in front of Zion, and he becomes like Victor Oladipo,
okay.
Which is he's a good player. The Magic to me, gave up on him too early. I never liked that trade from day one. But Zion becomes a 10-time All-Star. He becomes like Dominique Wilkins, like a Hall of Famer, a franchise quarterback for an NBA team, a franchise player for the Hawks. But RJ Barrett becomes like a Victor who kind of gets traded to a couple teams.
I think that's good,
averages around 20 a game. Would that be a bust in your eyes?
No, okay. I don't think it would be because Victor's an all-star.
Yes.
He is a good overall player, good defensively. He's athletic. He really contributes to his team. He's the centerpiece of Indiana. The Magic kind of passed up on him, and it was weird. We all understand that situation. Well, we don't understand that situation. That's what makes it weird. But my point being is, if you're a centerpiece of a franchise, I don't think that's a bust. I think that's called being a number one overall pick, because not everybody is going to be. Because Victor Oladipo is an all-star. So if RJ's an all-star, that's not a bust. Is he Zion? No. So that's what's going to make it weird, is even though he's an all-star, people may look at it that way and perceive it that way because of who was drafted behind him. You know what I mean? It's like we always remember Greg Oden being terrible now because Kevin Durant was drafted behind him.
Yeah, that was bad. Ooh. God, Greg Oden was so good in college, too.
Yeah, the next Hakeem Olajuwon, they said.
Yeah, jeez. I don't think R.J. Barrett will be a bust, but I do agree. Like, I've watched him a lot. We're watching Duke probably more than usual because of this dream team of a NBA of a college team, and Zion. I love watching him. I'm a huge Zion. I'm a Knicks fan. I wanted them to be better this year. I like Kevin Knox. Tim Hardaway's playing great ball and all this stuff. I'm done. Like, I want the Knicks. Off script, Max literally goes an hour ago. He goes, "Hey, the Knicks just lost to the Cavs." I'm like, "Yes." You're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, dude, I want them more losses than the Cavs." I'm like, I want them to get Zion. I'm that high on him. I think Zion is a franchise quarterback for an NBA team. I really do. RJ Barrett, I think he's just going to be good. Like, I think he's going to be a scorer. I think he's a six man on a championship squad.
Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Maybe. I don't think he's going to be that good. Like, I guess
Really?
I'm higher on Tim Hardaway Jr. because I'm a Knicks fan. Tim, unless you're...
He's good.
He's having a really good year.
You have to think about the situation, though, as well.
Yeah, and that's what I think. On a horrible team, the Knicks might hit a top 5 worst team in the league. Yeah, averaging 21, 22 a game. Maybe R.J. Barrett can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But for he can't do what Kemba Walker's doing. He can't put up good stats for a borderline playoff team.
Right.
Especially in the West. God, he would get swamped in the West. Like, he's no Damian Lillard. He's no C.J. McCullough.
Do you know what the draft... of course, it may change depending on how the rest of the season goes, but as of right now, do you know who's projected top? It has to be Cleveland, Knicks, and
Phoenix
Hawks?
is the worst team in the league.
Phoenix?
Yeah, they're number one. It's Phoenix, Atlanta, Chicago.
Okay, so could you imagine a Devin Booker with a Zion
and
Ayton?
Yeah, Ayton's been good this year. Like, they're really bad. Phoenix just can't win. They're too young. One, I do want to jump in the Trevor Ariza trade talk with you real quick. But with Phoenix, Booker's an absolute stud. I'm higher on Devin Booker than other people. But Ayton's been good this year. Like, he looks like he's going to be a 18-10 guy for his career, which is great.
Okay, so now that we're transitioning real quick to the Suns.
Okay.
I've been high on Devin Booker as well. 70 points in the game. The kid is special. I think this is the year I'm starting to look the other way also, because I've always seen him as a talented scorer, shooter, playmaker on a unstable franchise. The Phoenix Suns never truly had great success. Okay, Charles Barkley. You also had Steve Nash. So they have bursts of greatness.
When you have an MVP caliber player in their prime, they have a burst.
Okay, but they're not. They don't sustain it.
Bad franchise.
Yeah, they're not consistent. So that is what made me always look the other way and say it's Devin Booker and kind of a bad situation, a bad scenario. But now, with like you just said, Ayton's not a bust. Ayton looks like he will be a good NBA player, 18-10 guy, you said. And I feel with the West being more vulnerable than ever, Golden State having its issues, Houston taking a step back. We both like the Lakers, but they're not ready to win an NBA championship this year. You predicted the Jazz. They fell off a little bit. The Mavericks, they look good with Luka Doncic, but they don't really look like the old Mavs who were a championship contender.
You still haven't mentioned the West team?
The Thunder.
Whoa! The first seed in the West right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
But my point being is that this is like a time more than ever to take that 8th spot, maybe that 7th spot.
He should step up a little bit.
And
is that what you're
not,
getting at?
yeah, and they're not. And to say And not only are they not, they're the worst team in the league right now. Yeah. So when do we start to look at Devin Booker and say, okay, dude, you put up great numbers. There's a lot of guys who put up great numbers who never won. And a couple more years go by, you're falling into that category of a Carmelo Anthony, of those type of players.
Great point. Really, really good point. Sooner or later, you have to win.
And he wants the super teams to come to him, too, he said.
He's not a rookie anymore. He's not a second-year guy. This is his 5th season in the league.
5th?
Yeah. He was with Anthony Davis.
That's even more my case. Yeah,
no,
season
I'm
kind
of getting with you. The only thing I would kind of say, and we have paper and pen. I wrote down a name right next to him. You ready? I wrote down Andrew Luck. There's only so much you can do with what you're surrounded with. If you're surrounded with awful coaching, awful GM, me and you are Andrew Luck guys. He's amazing. He's the 6th best quarterback in the world. But the Colts have been awful. He literally didn't play last year because the team was so bad. There's sooner, and especially basketball, you play, there's 5 guys on the court at all times. Mm-hmm. You play 9 guys in a rotation. So even if Booker and then Ayton's having a good year and Trevor, and you're down by 4, but then you have to go to the bench because your bench comes in, and then all of a sudden you're down by 11 and you're playing the Trailblazers, who are a good team in the West, when you might be, Trailblazers are 55-45 to them, but then the bench comes in and it's not close anymore.
But Andrew Luck did go to an AFC championship game.
Yeah.
Devin Booker's never sniffed the playoffs.
So I agree with that. Just my analogy of you need help in sports. There's a lot of players, but then I do agree with sooner or later you have to man up and win games. Or not be the absolute worst team in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can be, even the Kings this year are they've got 10, 12 wins. They're winning games. Like DeAndre Fox is putting it together. They have a lot of young players on their team. Who's the kid from Duke who's off the Bagley?
Yeah.
He's been good
Marvin
for him.
Bagley.
Off the bench. Cauley Stein's on the team playing. He's balling out. Buddy Hield. Their talent to me is not that much superior than the Suns, but they're 2 totally different records, and they're 2 teams going in different directions.
Yeah, that's my point.
Weird.
That's my point. If Devin Booker's considered the elite player that he should be, you're not the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if you want to be an all-star in the West, you put any all-star. If you put even Chris Paul at this age on the Phoenix Suns, I think they have a better record.
Oh, I agree. We are a guy who kind of reminds me, and he went to the same school, so to me it's a perfect analogy, is Jamal Murray. Kentucky shooter. I love Jamal Murray out of the draft, just as I like Devin Booker. Shooters, Kentucky.
He's a stud.
He's a stud. To me, Booker and Murray are not that far off, but everyone has Booker higher than Murray.
Yeah.
But you go to the rest of the Nuggets and you go to the rest of the Suns. I know the Nuggets are better, but not by not leap and bounds. Jokic to Ayton close, Trevor to Harris maybe close. It's just the rest of the squads are closer than what people think, but Denver's the second, third best record in the West, and the Suns are the worst record in the league.
Okay, so at least we've been on the same page with Zion, RJ, and Devin. Now, something has to give.
All right,
what subject are we getting to now?
Let's talk about MVP talk.
Of this season?
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to. The greatest player in today's game.
I think I've been on this guy for MVP, and I think you disagree with it. Mm-hmm. And it's not who you're thinking. Steph Curry is going to be the MVP this year.
Can I rebuttal now, or do you want to make your case?
Just sit on that for a second. His points per game, I heard a stat. No one's ever in the game of basketball ever shot 50% from the field, 50% from the three-point line, and 90% from the foul line. Mm-hmm. It's never happened in this sport. He's averaging those right now. He averages above 29 points a game. When Curry's playing, their percentage winning is the best in the league. Yeah. So it's just when he plays, the Warriors are the best team in the league, and he's got the best stats. If he plays 65 games because he's missed 12, if he kind of plays most of the games left, Steph Curry's your MVP.
Okay, so we had this debate off script, so I'm glad we're bringing it on the mic now. I'm a Steph Curry guy. I really am. I think he's the second best player in the world after talking to you and Rashad debating that. I think he's the second best player in the world. He's changed the NBA with this 3-point shot. I think he's the second greatest point guard of all time. I think he'll have 4 rings, the best shooter ever, all the records. I am a Steph Curry guy. But it's not Steph Curry. For one, even though missing games proves how valuable you are, typically the MVP award doesn't go to people who miss a lot of games. When James Harden missed a lot of games and the Houston struggled a little bit, it gave LeBron James the advantage back in the MVP conversation the other year because of James Harden missing games. Now, of course, James Harden's play allowed him to still win it. So that's why I don't think your Steph Curry MVP prediction is like out of reach. Like, it's not far-fetched, because if they go on a 40-game win streak and Steph Curry's the reason why, you're not wrong. But right now, it's LeBron James, in my opinion. We both think, well, obviously not you right now, but in seasons in the past, he deserved the MVP every year.
Oh,
he's the most valuable player in the league.
He should have 8 MVP trophies.
Yeah.
8.
Same with Michael Jordan. And it's, you take him off the Cavaliers, this team is right up there with Phoenix, right up there with your Knicks as the worst teams in the league. And that was the team that went to the NBA Finals with LeBron James. And you added Colin Sexton. So that proves how valuable he is leaving the Cavs. So then he joins this young Lakers team. We all thought Brandon Ingram was going to be an all-star this year. You and I thought we were ahead of the curve there. He's going to average 19 to 23 points per game, and he hasn't. He hasn't been that second guy. It's actually Kuzma.
Yeah.
And so now he's dealing with Lonzo Ball. I like Lonzo. Not that you dislike the person, but you definitely are more critical of Lonzo, and you don't think he's been putting up the numbers he should be. So for argument's sake, let's just say you're right. So Lonzo Ball isn't what we thought he would be, as well as Brandon Ingram. Your young core that was supposed to attract LeBron was Kuzma, Ingram, Ball, and Hart. And so if 2 of them aren't doing what they're supposed to do, that's half of the equation not going right. So that team that didn't make the playoffs, with half the equation not going right, he brings them to the playoffs, and they're one game away from being the number 1 seed. 1 game away. So a team who didn't make the playoffs, 1 game away from number 1 seed in the West, team he went to the finals with is now one of the worst teams in the league. If that's not valuable, I don't know what is. And then on top of that, the analytics. He's averaging 28 points per game in year 16, and he's putting up the best numbers he's ever done, as well as the three-point shooting. He's a much better three-point shooter this year. His free throws drive me insane, but other than that, his numbers are statistically great numbers, on top of all the valuable conversation we had. Any other time, any other era, any other player, I agree with you, it's Steph Curry. But when you have somebody that will go down in the history books like LeBron, it's LeBron.
Okay. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. LeBron, in my books, is number 2.
Okay.
He's above Giannis, above Kawhi, above any one of the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. He's above Russell Westbrook in the MVP talk.
Thank God.
LeBron is number 2.
I was getting worried there.
2 things you didn't say about LeBron is he's the leader in fourth quarter scoring this year.
Amazing. He paces himself. I told you.
Yeah, that's when it's clutch time. That's when you win games in the fourth quarter. You put teams away, or you need to come back and win. He's the number 1 scorer in the whole league fourth quarter. So that is, to me,
in year 16,
valuable.
Yeah.
The second thing is Dwayne Wade is retiring again.
Yes.
Download Apple Podcasts, guys, Spotify. We just had a great Dwayne Wade, LeBron James discussion. I loved it. I listened to it twice. It was that good. Dwayne Wade, guys, is retiring. You could tell he kind of got up for the game against LeBron in the Staples Center. He had like 15, 8, and 6. Like, that's his get-up game.
Yeah.
If LeBron gets 15, 8, and 6, what is it? He's horrible. He's done all this. Guys, LeBron in year 16, I've never seen anything like it in any sport. There's not a 48-year-old baseball player. Remember when Randy Couture in MMA won a championship that old? It's just LeBron is Anderson Silva in his prime. He's Aaron Rodgers in his prime. He's Mike Trout for the Angels in his prime in year 16. It's unheard of. It's amazing.
I'm pretty sure he had 28, 12, and 9 that game against Miami.
LeBron.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a normal game for LeBron.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. In year 16.
It's amazing. So with those two things being said, it's almost, I won't argue against LeBron James. Okay. I will just argue for Steph Curry.
Makes sense.
Like, I'm not slighting LeBron, and I'm a LeBron guy. More in the kicks right now. You can't see it on a podcast, but I got the LeBron 14s on right now. So I will not go against LeBron. I just want to praise Curry and shed light on how great of a season he's having.
Right.
I just think that you see without Curry, the greatest team ever, that I think you and I are maybe 2 of the 7 people in the whole world that think this Warriors team would beat that Jordan team.
Mm-hmm.
Without Curry, they're just a 500 squad. Draymond Green's yelling at everyone on the team. Kevin Durant's going to leave in free agency. Clay's on one game, off another. Steve Kerr doesn't want to coach. Their bench is thin. Like, everything falls apart so quickly for one guy.
This is why I disagree, though, because I agree but disagree. Steph Curry is clearly the most valuable player on this Warriors team. Like, no secret. Like you said, when he leaves, they're 500 for that span. He's the leader. Like you said, there is drama, there is turmoil. But I will say this, just because you take the short data of over the years, it's not necessarily short because it does show, but I still think with Kevin Durant being the 3rd best player in the world, Klay Thompson being the 10th best player in the world, Draymond Green being the 18th, 23rd best player in the world, and DeMarcus Cousins, when he comes back, is the 15th to 8th best player, wherever you want to rank him when he plays healthy. So with all that, there's still a championship contender. Normally, I would say they would win the whole thing, but that's why I'm taking out Steph Curry's, him being that valuable. So that's why I'm saying they're a championship contender, not championship team, because that's how valuable he is. But they're more than a 500 team. You take out Kevin Durant, they're a championship team with Steph Curry. You take out Steph Curry, they're a championship contender.
Okay. Kind of have a question with, well, I'm going with something here. I know you're not a Russell Westbrook guy, right?
Yep.
2 years ago when he averaged the triple-double and he won the MVP, do you think he deserved the MVP that year?
No.
No. Do you think he deserved second or third, the first guy ever to get the triple-double since Oscar Robertson?
Like second or third in the poll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
One reason why is, and they were only like a 6 seed that year, but he did something historic. No one's ever averaged a triple-double 36 years ago since Oscar Robertson.
Right.
Steph Curry is going to do something historic this year. It's never happened, Max, in the NBA. There's been great shooters. John Stockton, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Mark Price, LeBron. There's just been numerous of unbelievable shooters in the NBA for 80 years. Steph Curry might be the first player ever 50% from the field goal, which is hard enough. He's 50% from the three-point line and 90% from foul line. He's just so... Imagine if he shot as many shots as like a James Harden or a Russell Westbrook or a Kevin Durant.
No,
he would average like 37, 39 a game.
Yeah, that is an unbelievable stat line. He's number 2 in my book. A lot of people don't even have him on there. So, but I will just counter with this. If you want to talk about records, LeBron just passed Wilt Chamberlain 5th all-time scoring list. He'll be the first ever to be in the top 10 scoring, top 10 assists. But as far as individual performances records, if you look at...
Just real quick, and I don't want to interrupt, just real quick. That is as he broke Wilt Chamberlain, what took him 16 years to do. Like, so maybe he was valuable for 15 years and then just broke it this year. Curry's is just this year. I'm not doing any Curry's numbers from 4 years ago.
Okay.
Does that make sense? When he was the unanimous MVP, I'm not bringing up that at all.
I'll even give you that.
Okay.
In year 16, though, I will give you this. Magic Johnson never played 16 seasons. Larry Bird never played 16 seasons.
That's the truth right there.
I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan was on the Wizards. He gambling on the Wizards. Not too sure what he was doing that year. So something we've never seen before as well. Now that may not be a stat. I mean, I'm sure there's stats of year 16. This player's done this player's done that. But there's never been. It's not necessarily a stat. It's just a basketball concept to see somebody that age. That's like the Uncle Drew movie of just Kyrie, obviously Uncle Drew, getting out there and balling people at that age. Never seen, never done. So it's not necessarily on paper, but it's something that we're all in awe of. That's what you started off your LeBron rant with.
Yeah. Wow. Love it. Great debate, MVP. There's two little, I want to go right with one direction,
little
left
avenues.
with another direction. So I'll throw out the topics, and you say which one you want to go first, and we'll jump into it.
Before you go,
Uh-huh.
I said my locked in, this is going to be the best episode ever, and it's on track, so go ahead.
Okay. The East.
Okay.
Philly's been playing great since Jimmy Butler. The Raptors is not stopping playing great. Kawhi Leonard's just been a perfect fit for them. Just talk about the whole East, and then you and I definitely have talked about the Magic winning the division. I kind of want to hit on that. So just the East or the potential free agents next year of Durant and Kawhi. There's rumors of LA and trades and who's going to join the Lakers, and just kind of like the off season, which is always fun to debate and talk about, or just going down right now and what will happen in the future for the East.
Let's save the best for the last. That's the free agents.
Okay.
So let's go down the East route. I am locked in. I'm taking credit. I said Jimmy Butler and the 76ers is going to work. There's egos. I said that Jimmy Butler can be a knucklehead at times. Joel Embiid clearly can. I never said it was going to be pretty. I said there was going to be bumps. I said there's going to be some curves in the road and some dodging and improvising and evolving. But what I've been saying is growth is important, and this team shows growth, and they all fit each other. As long as they have the perseverance and they have the self-awareness, this team will make it out of the East. Because right now they're on par to do that. Now, their egos can get in the way, and that's what I'm scared of. I am scared of, like Joel Embiid came out and said that he's not necessarily happy with the looks he's getting, and that's something to be fearful of as a 76er fan, because Joel Embiid, even though I believe Ben Simmons, and you do too, will be the next best player in the league, Joel Embiid right now is your best scorer on the team. I think over Jimmy Butler, and he needs to be your go-to guy. Jimmy Butler, when everyone's drawn to Joel Embiid, will get the better looks and become more efficient and give you a 23 to 25, but the first touch needs to go Joel Embiid, so that's what I'm worried about. So I just wanted to start off in Philly and say they are on par with my locked in thus far.
Yeah, we had a whole podcast about
The
that.
East.
And just mainly about those big four teams, Toronto, Milwaukee, Philly, and Boston. And I'm still holding packed in mind that I do not have Philly coming out of the East. Still don't. They're playing good. Oh, they won the trade. They got Jimmy Butler. They got an NBA All-Star, the 15th best player in the world. There's just something about them that doesn't fit well. Like, 6 games into this, 9 games into it, and already Joel Embiid, who to me, their best player who is kind of playing on an MVP type of level, is already like, I'm not loving this.
So
like,
on court, it works, but maybe not with the egos.
Yeah, and it's like you need to be in a 7-game series when a loss is that big and a close loss is just that it's magnified against Boston or against Toronto.
Yeah.
I feel like a loss will break them. I don't feel that way in Boston or Toronto.
True.
I feel like they're mentally tougher. I think I like Brad Stevens coaching better too in Boston
As well.
I think you and I, same thing. I don't want to give us all the credit in the world, but hey, we want credit. The Boston Celtics, it was so obvious, guys. Everyone like, oh, they're adding this player, they're adding this player. They're going to win 108 games in an 82-game season. I'm like, guys, their backups and their guys that were injured were getting so many more shots, and they were playing great, and the coaching was great. They can't get that much better than what they were, and that's what's happening. I still think they will be better than what they are. They're trying to they're trying to gel. They're trying to see who needs to shoot at what time of the games.
Exactly.
And I think they will get to that spot. I just love their talent level in Boston. They had the most talent in the East, 1 through 8.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's playing great, but this Toronto team, I think this is the year that Toronto goes to the finals. I really do.
They're my second option, actually, above Boston, because we said it, like you said. I said Brad Stevens has had scenarios where his coaching was displayed, but he's never had an issue where he has too much talent and too many egos, and that's what he has this year. Toronto is my number 2, and they look like I honestly am close to switching it on next week because, like you said, on court, I like the Sixers better because of their talent.
Sure.
But I am in agreement with you. If it's already 9 games in and Joel Embiid is struggling with the touches, I feel one loss can really – like everybody's great when everything's going well, but your true colors shine when things are bad, and Toronto's sturdier.
sturdier, and I think it's over. They will have home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Game 1 and Game 2 will be in Toronto. This season, they have the absolute best player in that matchup. Kawhi right now is better than Ben, Joel, or Jimmy.
Yeah.
I probably will give Philly the next 3. But their team, it's a cohesive unit.
Yeah, they gel.
They gel great. They just switched out DeRozan and Kawhi, and Kawhi is an A-plus player. DeRozan's a B+, and like that's what they needed. They just needed that little extra because they were the 1 seed last year in the East. The last 4 seasons, LeBron James has been a Cav 4 seasons. Right. Now he's a Laker.
Right.
Everyone's like, who had the most wins in the East for those 4 years? Everyone always says, oh, it was Cleveland. They went to 4 straight finals. LeBron. It wasn't Cleveland. It was Toronto. They've been really good for multiple years in a row. They just needed a little extra. And that's what Kawhi Leonard is.
Okay, so I am in agreement with all of that. But that being said, if Kawhi brings them to the finals, we didn't even talk about MVP discussion then. Like, we didn't even mention his name. He has to be up there, right?
Oh, you're right. He's probably, in my book, he's probably 3rd. I have Curry 1, LeBron 2, LeBron 1B, and I got probably Kawhi 3.
I do too. Giannis is up there. I think Giannis is 4. But that's what I'm saying. If Toronto does pull it off, that's a pretty big climb that Kawhi did by himself. Well, I'm not trying to say by himself. He has a great unit, but Toronto never got over that hump. Kawhi goes there. They get over that hump. That's obviously going to get a lot of credit to Kawhi Leonard. But, Dave, when we leave the East, before we get into free agency, I do have to talk about Kevin Durant.
Oh, real quick, we got one more Eastern topic.
Yeah. Oh, I will. Trust me.
Because we had the bet. And I don't know if you ever accepted this, not Chick-fil-A bet. We accepted the lunch bet.
Oh, the Orlando Magic?
The Orlando Magic. Is this locked in? We're live right now.
It's not a bet because, okay, first of all, the topic was I've been going to these Orlando Magic games and talking to the players with Rashad Phillips, and Rashad and I both were in agreement as far as they have a legitimate shot at winning the division.
Southeast Division is the worst it's been probably since the beginning of the Southeast Division.
Yeah.
Teams in it are, guys, the Hawks, Wizards, Heat, Magic, and Hornets.
Yeah.
It's a bad division. And it's just one of those years, it's
going
down
through
year.
a drought.
The Heat, when LeBron was awesome. Back in the day, my Atlanta had dude, remember when Atlanta was the 1 seed? Al Horford, Korver, 4 All-Stars, all that. And the Magic's been up and down. The Wizards, a couple years ago, they were 3, 4, 5 seed. They got to trade Wall or Beal. Have to, right?
Yeah. But about this division.
Yes. I did not have the Magic win in the division. And at the time we had this discussion or a debate or an argument. It's a sports argument. It's fun. I just thought that you and Rashad Phillips are like, hey, the Magic have a good shot of winning it or going to win it. And I was like, oh, no way. They're too young. They've never made the playoffs with this unit. They've never won anything with this unit. They've all kind of been not underachieving, but they've just always been a bad playoff team, bad team. There's no way they're going to go to a bad team straight to winning the division.
What I would say, though, they have a legitimate shot. The reason why I'm not betting is because I think the Hornets can, too. It's 50-50. So legitimate shot is a 50-50 shot. I mean, if we flip heads and coins, I have a legitimate shot at getting tails. So heads and tails, by the way. But anyway.
So, okay, your 50-50 shot, I'm 95.5%.
So I'm going to explain why I think it should be a little higher. Because when I go to these games, there's a couple things that frustrate me, and there's a couple things I really like to see. One is they're a lot deeper than people think. They really are.
Agreed.
I love Mo Bamba. I know you do too.
They have like a really good youth, young, athletic, long, and
Nucleus.
a couple just older veterans like Vucic that score and just kind of put up stats.
Yeah,
like,
so Mo Bamba is my number one. I think he has the highest potential out of everybody. His ceiling's the highest. I love Jonathan Isaac as a 7-foot wing. He's so versatile from FSU. He's a great two-way player, runs in transition. I love what Vucevic is doing. Now, he could be a defensive liability at times, but offensively, he puts up numbers. I think he even broke Shaq's rebounding record like the other year. So, you add those three, and I didn't even get to Aaron Gordon. Now, Aaron Gordon, I had the pleasure of talking to him, and he's all about the team winning.
Yeah.
He is somebody that can put up 35 points one night, but then can kind of step back another night. So he shows like glimpses and flashes of greatness because his athleticism, as we've seen through the dunk contest, is unbelievable. And when his three-point shot is hitting and he can handle, it's a scary sight. So you add all of that on top of Fournier, who could shoot. Terrence Ross off the bench is making a case to be Sixth Man of the Year, but I think Derrick Rose will get that. So you add all these people to it. They're deeper than what people think. But what frustrates me is I'm not putting the coach on blast. I just wish Mo Bamba would play more and they'd run a little bit more through him to get more touches. And I'm fearful that they're not doing that because they may be scared it may not win them enough games because they are trying to make the playoffs. But I feel it'd be the exact opposite. If you give them the ball more, him and Isaac and Gordon and Vooch, all in that lineup, I think they can do it. So that's why I think it's more than 5%.
Okay. For one about Aaron Gordon, they need to keep feeding him the ball.
Yeah.
Don't do what they did with Victor. Excuse me, guys. Go all in with Aaron Gordon because I think he is do you think he's going to be an all-star this year?
I asked him that question. He didn't care. He said, I just want the team to
all
win.
All players care.
So, yeah, so,
come on, Aaron. You care.
Know. So I think he makes the case. We could go list like name by name by name by name. I think he's in consideration.
Oh, I think so too because they are right now. They are the 8th seed. They are a borderline playoff team.
Yep.
In the East, like there's not. Detroit might have Blake.
We debated about Chris Middleton. I think
Middleton's going to make it. I'm telling you.
Over Gordon for sure. That's what I'm saying. It's up there.
That's a debate between them two, but I think both of them are going to make it.
Okay, so you have an all-star on the Magic.
I think Gordon's going to make it. Because if there's 8 playoff teams, and
he's a fan favorite. It's voting.
Brooklyn, the Knicks, Cavs, Cleveland, Miami, Washington, and Atlanta, none of those have all-stars right now. None.
So that's why I'm saying it's more than 5%.
So the rest of the 8 will, and I got Aaron Gordon probably making this team. But my point is, do what they didn't do with Victor. Go all in with Aaron Gordon.
I think they can. You good over there, Cuzzo?
Coughing up, man. We've been talking all night.
I know, and I haven't even gotten on my rants.
Oh, my gosh.
But, no, that's what I'm saying. So they have more than a 5% chance. Will they? It's 50-50 in my book. Maybe 60-40.
95-5.
Okay. There's no swaying you. Can I go? Can I go on my rant?
Before you go on a rant, talk to the people, Max, about Magna Loops, Fit Meals, and Pep-Boys.
All right. I never thought you'd ask. So Fit Meals. Dave, I feel dangerous. I've been telling you I listened to the Joe Rogan's podcast with David Goggins, and they're talking about doing pull-ups. My best friend's dad is just huge and I'm like, what do you do? He's like, just pull-ups and push-ups. So I'm like, okay. So on top of when I work out every day, I've been implementing instead of my 200 push-ups, I'm implementing my pull-ups. So now I did like 100 pull-ups, right, a day. So one thing I've seen from a personal trainer on Instagram was put as much time in your workouts as you do in your nutrition.
Agree. It's the most underrated thing about.
Exactly. That's why LeBron James is in year 16 and is playing the way he is.
You think LeBron's on Fit Meals?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. So my point being is I've focused on Fit Meals and it's shown leaps and bounds in my performance in the gym. And I'm not trying to say I'm the Rock or anything in the gym, but just from what I've seen already, myfitmeals.com, and maybe you don't want to do what I'm doing necessarily and just put on muscle weight, but you want to lose weight and you just don't have time to cook or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people who are just grinding to feed their families and they don't have time to cook a home meal. You just want something quick at the office. myfitmeals.com. Dimitri from Fit Meals will hook you up with the best deals. That's my Fit Meals rant.
Definitely. Well, you're putting on weight just because we got this 2-on-2 basketball game with Mitchell Chamali and Alex Nicholson. They're about to get locked out.
In case you guys don't know who that is, Alex Nicholson is a heavyweight fighter for the PFL League who has Kevin Hart invested in it, by the way.
Yeah.
But
good guy, too.
He's a
we
big,
had Olive Garden with him.
Yeah, he's a big dude. So I'm going to have to guard him in the post, and that's something that's going to be kind of scary. So I'm glad he shaved the beard. I was a little intimidated when he had the James Harden beard, but now that he shaved it, I'm not as intimidated. Don't tell him I told you, but that's how I feel about it.
Okay.
Anyway, so then we also have Magna Loops. Magna Loops, guys, we do podcasts clearly. You're listening to one. There's a lot of cords involved, and MagnaLoops has made it so easy and so convenient with all these cords. They can get tangled. And I've seen something on Instagram. Check them out, MagnaLoops. They even have like Christmas ornaments hooked on these MagnaLoops and everything. So it's so convenient and so useful. It's something that you may not think about throughout your day. You just see a bunch of cables, but if you use MagnaLoops, it can really help make your life easier. And isn't that what we all try to do with AC and technology and maps, is make life easier? So that's MagnaLoops.
Okay.
And lastly, we're going to not Fort Lauderdale. We're going to Pensacola. Island Fights 51.
We might go there too. Who knows?
Who knows? We have to have reliable transportation, and we do because of Pep-Boys. So we couldn't thank Richie from Pep-Boys enough on International and Daytona Beach. Hooks you up with the best deals. You can only go there once, and that's all you need. Pep-Boys, mention Locked In.
Dude, he's a gem.
He's a beast.
We talked about him on Facebook.
Besides his
he
Raiders.
helps everyone in the community. He's a great guy.
Talk about the community, Locked In community, like the page.
Yep.
I put up the Dwayne Wade discussion that we had. I said Dwayne Wade's locked in the third best shooting guard ever, and you agree. We're on the same page.
I do.
Jordan,
100%
Kobe, Wade.
agree. And if someone wants to argue Jerry West,
yeah,
all right.
Right.
I'm 34 years old. I'm not afraid to tell my age. I didn't really watch Jerry West. You know, I've seen some NBA classics, and
So
I know the
you'd be
stats.
like, okay.
I'm like, I can understand. Reggie Miller.
No, wait. Ray Allen?
Ray Allen? He got game?
I love Ray Allen. He hit the big shot for Miami. I love him in Boston. I love him with the Sonics, but he's not above Dwayne Wade.
I know when that man was on a team by himself, it was the Bucks and the Sonics, and they didn't win a dang squiggity squat. Dwayne Wade literally won an NBA championship by himself in the NBA Finals. 39-8-8. Google image that.
And I love Allen Iverson. Most people list him as a point guard, but even if you do a shooting guard, as far as a better overall player, Dwayne Wade has the defensive advantage and 3 championships. 3. And yes, he had LeBron and Shaq. We talked about this. He had arguably the greatest MVP, finals MVP performance of all time. So it's not like he rode the coattails of anybody.
And if you want to argue that AI was a better offensive player, okay.
Right.
Like a ball handler, a little bit better out three-point shooter.
Yeah.
I can say okay. Like I can give you that nod, but 100% intangibles, leadership, basketball IQ, and defense, which is 50% of the game, Dwayne Wade smashes Allen Iverson. That's locked in.
But anyway, Richie's a great guy. So, anyway.
All right, take it away, Matt. I know you want to talk about Kevin Durant.
Okay, so Dave, I feel comfortable sending this podcast to pretty much anybody, and we're going to get great feedback. That's me just being honest. It sounds a little conceited. It's not necessarily humble. It's just how I truly feel.
That humble's underrated.
So anyway, listen. I heard this rant, and Kevin Durant has rabbit ears, right? Like that's locked in. It's confirmed. It's not really
If we tag him, he's probably going to listen to this afterwards.
So, and I love Kevin Durant as the player. I think he's a great person. So it's not being critical at his character. I just think it's a jab at LeBron with this quote. So he mentions like one of the greats, right? Jordan and Kobe. Then he throws Kyrie Irving in there. And people could say, well, use it in context. What was he talking about? And I understand they all have great footwork. They're all guards. They're all shifty. They're scorers. But there's no way you don't mention LeBron James in that conversation at all. Like, there's no way. And Kobe's not on LeBron's level. He's not. But just for argument's sake, let's just say he is. Kyrie Irving damn sure is not on LeBron James's level. Now, you could say he's a great player, top 5 point guard. Yes. I love Kyrie Irving. I love Kevin Durant, Kobe, and Jordan. But LeBron James not being put in that conversation, I think, is his subtle way of taking a shot at his legacy. Am I reading too far into it? Do you agree?
Well, I definitely agree with you.
Right.
That he's... dude, I think Kevin Durant, like, the more he talks, the more I dislike him. I think he's a knucklehead. Like, I really do. I think he's so, like, unsecure, and he's just so... He says sometimes the dumbest things. And he's so smart on the court.
Yes.
And his decision that people don't like, that I don't dislike, I kind of maybe defend a little bit more than the other people, he could have stayed in OKC. He could have went to 7 different teams and could have won and did so many different things.
He liked the move.
But he made the smartest move basketball-wise and for his legacy to win championships.
Yeah.
And he went to Golden State. But everything else this man does is just idiotic.
Like the burner account.
Just all that. It's just, and then how can Steph Curry play with Draymond Green? This is another slight, or I'm throwing some, how the kids call it, shade.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Keep it 100, Dave. Keep it 100.
Once in a while, Max, I'll keep it 100. Steph Curry's played on the Warriors with Draymond Green for 7 seasons. You have never seen any arguments, any disgruntled players. You never seen a story that he got suspended and, I don't know anything about it. Like, Curry's dealt with Draymond for 7 years. Nothing. Championships and MVPs. Kevin Durant's been on the team for 18 months. These guys fight every week.
Can I just ask a quick question, too, since we're on the topic?
Sure.
I don't want to digress too much because I know we want to get into free agency. This toe injury happened right after they got in an argument. Literally right after they got in an argument. And Draymond's a tough guy. Like, the league has gotten softer because it's more offensive-minded, no more hand checks. So the tough guys that are tough, are tough because they go against the rules. In this case, kick people in the nuts. Like, these guys are tough. So Draymond's a tough guy in the NBA, and you're telling me right after the argument, a toe injury kept him out this long? Am I reading too much into that too, or are my investigation glasses working tonight?
Put the X-File music on.
I'm just saying, it looks kind of weird, right?
Did they, one, say, hey, Draymond, you're suspended for 10 games, but we didn't want anyone else to know?
Right, to stop all the storylines.
Did he get so mad he kicked the wall and he really did hurt his toe? He's like,
or kick Kevin Durant. My point being,
kicked him in the nuts and hurt his toe.
My point,
hey, Kevin, I'm mad at you.
My
Steven Adams gets kicked in the nuts.
my point being, isn't that just ironic? That's all.
No, it's 100% ironic. It's just, Kevin Durant, what's on? Why do you? No one else talks.
They
just play basketball, shoot jump shots, and win championships. Shut your mouth. People would like you. And just Kyrie Irving, you're fighting with Draymond Green. You are telling people you want out. And then let me just throw this out. It's kind of we're gonna transition into the free agency talk. No free agent, none, Max, have ever went to the Clippers. We talk about it. My main argument, we've probably the best, biggest, longest debate we've had on the show is about Chris Paul. And my thing I've always said was the Clippers are the worst organization in the NBA for 40 years. And Chris Paul went there. They went to 7 straight playoffs. Maybe he didn't win enough playoff series, yes. But he literally put the Clippers and,
put them on the map.
Yeah, put them on the map, made them glue. They were a solid team. They won a playoff series every now and then. They didn't get to the Western Conference Finals like they probably should have. Or
number one team in LA.
But, yeah, during that run, they were the number one team. But they've never – Chris Paul was traded there when he wasn't traded to the Lakers. A free agent has never went there, ever.
Blake Griffin was drafted.
Time. Yes, never. There's rumors that Kevin Durant will want to go to the Clippers. That is perfect Kevin Durant. That is Kevin Durant rolled up in a ball to the Clippers. That's just – no one's ever went there. Why would you want to go to the Clippers? This drives me crazy, these rumors.
Okay, let me rebuttal, because I think it's crazy. I do too.
Nuts.
I'm in agreement with you. I think it's crazy. Don't swing on me.
And then the only thing is just the last thing is their probably best player is Tobias Harris, who's Kevin Durant light. He's 6'8", 20-point guy, mid-range shooter. He's their best player. It's like that's the worst spot for Kevin Durant.
Dave, we can go for hours, so this is my condensed version of it, and it may not even seem condensed. Kevin Durant, I love the guy. I don't even mind him speaking. I just think maybe just worry about yourself and elevating yourself instead of degrading others as far as just subtle shots. Just worry about yourself. That's all. I don't mind. Like, speak all you want. I think you're an intelligent guy. I think you're an awesome dude, but I just don't think there's need to bring others down. That's all. But the Clipper situation. I don't think it makes sense. I don't. Like you said, and especially if Kawhi Leonard and Jerry West are close, and there's a lot of people scouting Kawhi Leonard in Toronto, and he's projected to go there. Why would you want to go there with Kawhi Leonard, for one? Because then it looks like even though you're forming a team, you're going to another great situation, but it just doesn't work. Like you said, and the only reason why I could see that move, and this is literally the only reason I can see it, because then you'd be the number 2 in the LA. It's not the Lakers. If you lose, that can be detrimental to your legacy. The only reason is if he thinks he's better than LeBron, and the only way to prove he's better than LeBron is he beats LeBron's Lakers with his Clippers. That's the only reason why.
The LA thing?
That's the only reason why I see him doing it. The only reason why it makes sense. Other than that, I completely disagree with the move. I don't think he should do it. It doesn't make sense. That's just the only thing. Especially with everything we're talking about, kind of adds up to that. Rabbit ears, trying to take away from LeBron's legacy, elevate his a little bit. I just think that all comes into play with that kind of move. I guess we're talking about free agency, but
3 people were on a list. This is a really, when you grow up, you want to play sports, and you want to get on this list. This is like a big thing for people. Locked out David's list. Grayson Allen, LeVar Ball, and Jalen Ramsey. These guys have been locked out officially from David Van Auken. They're horrible. They're scum.
Don't say that.
The 4th person that's going to be added to this list is Kevin Durant. I'm about to lock him out, Max.
Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Give him a chance.
For one, my cousin is talking me out of it. And 2, there is a 10% he goes to the New York Knicks, so I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
That was my reason.
New York Knicks next year, Zion Williamson, Kristaps Porzingis, and Kevin Durant. Ooh.
Yeah.
Just the LA thing real quick, to be serious, I just think he wants to up LeBron. That's the only reason. Yeah. There's no, and I don't think they would win either. It's kind of.
I don't either.
It's like the Miami Heat. We talked about it. They would be really good at 2, 3, and 4, but they would be bad at the 1 and 5. I just don't see it working.
I don't necessarily think he's the best by himself either. He needs a leader. He needs somebody to be
they would get Kawhi, right?
Kawhi doesn't speak.
Well, leader on the court.
Curry's the leader of that locker room, and he even speaks. He's verbal. He's vocal. He may not be trash talk outgoing, but he's outgoing.
That's a good point, but I will disagree with that because Doc Rivers is a great leader and a great players coach.
That's a good point.
He would be the leader of the Clippers.
That's a good point.
And he's in the locker room.
But is that also negative in a way, though?
No. Well, why would you think that's a negative?
Well, to have the coach as a leader hasn't always worked out for him as well. I'm just saying because Russell Westbrook and him were 50-50 on leadership, but he wasn't too happy with the coaching staff as well because he even went to management about Russell Westbrook, and he didn't I just think sometimes it's a lot of egos involved.
No, I totally agree, man. That's definitely the NBA with tons of egos. I think Durant wasn't unhappy about the leadership role, about 50-50. I think he was unhappy about how Russell Westbrook played.
Oh, isn't that funny?
We just bashed Kevin Durant for an hour and a half. Now you're backing him? Come on.
Anyway, but where are we at, Dave? What's the time on this one?
Oh my goodness. The kids are in bed. 58 minutes.
Awesome. Guys, download. We're not done, but download, subscribe, Locked In with 2 N's, all podcast platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, you name it, we're on it. Download, subscribe, leave a comment, please. We listen to all the feedback, good, negative, anything. We definitely love feedback and to interact with you guys. Leave 5 stars. And on that note, I have a trivia quiz for you, Dave.
I'm ready.
I'm going to tell you a player. You tell me where he lands. And it's not like your official list because your list can change. I will allow you to edit it. I will allow you to go back and critique it and really lock it in.
Ooh.
So like right now you may say somebody's going here, but maybe in a couple weeks more information gets developed. You can change it.
I'm ready.
As of right now, your list.
3 seconds or less is going to be a gut.
Okay.
I'm not going to think about it long.
Okay. Wait, by the way, is DeMarcus Cousins a free agent after this year?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's start off there. DeMarcus Cousins.
Atlanta Hawks.
That was a good one. That's one I did not see. Okay. Kawhi Leonard. That's way more than 3 seconds.
Toronto Raptors.
And we'll go back and talk about it. Okay. Klay Thompson.
Golden State Warriors.
Bradley Beal a free agent, or it's just because he was talking about trade rumors?
In the trade. He's got actually, after this year, 2 more years left.
Okay, then let's go with the elephant in the room, Kevin Durant.
New York Knicks.
Truly? Or is that the bias coming in you?
No, I don't think he'll go to L.A. As much as you think that might be what is it, a Q? Is that something good, like a Q or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
For him to go there to beat like LeBron and be the number 1 team, that would be the absolute worst for Kevin Durant, is if you go there, you don't win, and you're overshadowed by LeBron. So now you're not even in LeBron's shadow in the West or a championship in your own state, your own building. You're the shadow.
Okay, wow, this list is actually pretty incredible. A lot of people I didn't even think were on there. Kyrie Irving.
Brooklyn.
Ooh, Jimmy Butler.
Brooklyn.
Oh, he's still with 76ers. Yeah, so they team up in Brooklyn. Okay. Kemba Walker.
Charlotte. He stays there. He's going to get like the super, super max deal, like the John Wall deal.
Porzingis.
Knicks.
Tobias Harris.
It depends, because I don't think they're going to get anyone else. So I think the Clippers will overpay for him, because I think they will make the playoffs this year that they kind of shouldn't. And they don't want to lose him, and they won't get Durant or Kawhi, so he will stay in LA.
I'm saving Anthony Davis, by the way. Just a little teaser.
Lakers.
Spoiler alert.
Lakers.
Okay, Lakers.
Oh,
okay.
Max,
that means they have to trade for him because he's not necessarily a free agent.
I agree. We had our All-Star Mystery show 4 months ago, and I really thought this before it got buzzed.
So good. This list is so good.
Oh,
Chris
amazing.
Middleton. That's like somebody you don't necessarily think of as a big free agent, but he's the number 2 guy to Giannis. That can help define his career.
Yeah. Clippers.
Al Horford.
Detroit.
Mark Gasol.
Memphis.
And lastly, Nikola Vucevic.
Croatia. He's out of the league.
Vucevic is a great player.
No,
Not great, but he's a good player.
He's a good player, but that does happen every now and then.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
he's like he's a
Dwayne Wade even considered going overseas.
Yeah, and like those sometimes they overpay. There was literally like a legit player who went overseas.
And just wasn't ready for
be
it.
the greatest locked-in call in the history of the podcast.
That would be pretty good. Okay, so let's just take what you provided, and this would kind of sum up the episode.
Yep.
Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Al Horford leaves.
Yep.
Where does that leave Boston? Because that means, and I don't think Hayward necessarily stays. I think they may want to trade him because Gordon Hayward hasn't been the player that he's been since the injury. Understandably so, obviously, but
for one, a trade has to go both ways.
Yeah.
So someone will want to get his contract maybe. So this is what I think.
Even
honestly,
if they don't trade him.
Rozier's a free agent as well. So they're going to lose Kyrie. So they're going to re-sign Rozier to a friendly contract, but they're going to give him legit money. So he stays. They're going to keep Gordon and elevate him because Brad Stevens likes him. They have Tatum and Jaylen Brown rookie contracts. Boom. They're going to lose Al Horford. He kind of makes a ton of money. He's an older veteran. Let him go. Dude, they have is it the Kings pick or Philly? They have like a legit pick.
I think like right now it's projected number 7.
Brooklyn.
And it's like Bol.
Yeah. So they have the
Good
7th
player,
pick,
by the
a
way.
Cam Reddish or Bol because if they lose Al Horford for a center,
Right.
they can get the best point guard in the draft to back up Rozier. So what I'm saying is they still have a really good draft pick this year. I think they're fine. And sometimes maybe that's what Boston needs
Jason
is less
Tatum.
and more. Yeah, just elevate Tatum into the best player. Tatum, Al Horford's gone. This is your team. Kyrie Irving's gone. Rozier played better with Tatum and Brown, and they might be better with less.
Love it. What a great episode, man.
That was pretty good.
What a great
Was it the best
episode.
one ever?
Yes.
Wow.
I enjoyed it. We talked about everything we needed to talk about in the NBA. I think we projected. I think we reflected. I think we did it all.
Yeah.
I think we did it all. We talked about downloading and subscribing. The episode locked in with 2 ends. We have a packed schedule, Dave. We're going to be in Pensacola, like we said, because of Pep-Boys. December 21st, Island Fights 51. We will be there, and we have so much stuff coming up on top of that.
I was just going to say, 2018 has been a great year for the Locked In Sports podcast. We're just ascending. 2019 is, I think, our absolute breakout year.
Yeah.
We have so many things planned.
Already.
Like February 20th, I looked on the calendar. We have like 7 dates. Like we have things, we can't even like break news yet. We have so many different things, so many different events that we're going to and to see. A lot of big things happening, Cuzzo. Big things.
And very quickly, I know you guys are probably NBA people listening to this, but if there's any MMA fans out there, fightbananas.com, absolute best MMA content. We partner up with some great people with Fight Bananas, and we're providing the best podcasts as well as the best information and articles, videos, also on Facebook, Fight Bananas, as well as Instagram, and of course Locked In's on all social media platforms as well with 2 N's. Dave the Wave, Locked In, I said best episode ever. As far as content and smiles, it was.
You delivered. You pulled the LeBron James of podcasting.
There we go.
So don't drink and drive. And on that note,
like always,
stay locked in.